Okay.
We're back to the scene of the crime when you first you said you were going to have an interview, and instead you were telling me I got the role in Vengeance Turns.
Right, right. I was gonna say that's kind of where I was gonna start too. Here we are, uh, in my studio, aka my apartment. I am Bobby Smith, aka Robert Christopher Smith, and you are Stacy, aka Stacy Marie Turner. And it's
That's
funny,
right.
all the AKAs and everything like that. But yeah, I was thinking about that today before we started, as I made a few notes and stuff. I knew I didn't have to take too many notes or have too many formal questions for you. But one of the main things I was thinking about was, do you realize now that we've, like, all four of my major projects, you've been on them. You're the only person that, even beyond like David Ruano, who's like my buddy and my, like, one of my lifetime connections on all this stuff. Uh, you have been on every single project, and nobody else can say that, you
I
know?
couldn't be happier.
Yeah, and neither could I. And it's like one of those things where, whether it's setting a tradition or it's a superstition, whatever you want to call it, now I would halfway be afraid to go into another project without you. And
Be superstitious. Be superstitious.
right, yeah, yeah. I would want people going, "Where is Stacy Marie Turner? I don't know if I should be here."
Yeah, when's she gonna? I'll be like Alfred Hitchcock. When's she gonna end up in the screen?
Yeah, yeah. But that's also, on that note, Hitchcock was famous for just doing his little pass-throughs and stuff like that. And when you look at like what you've done on the different roles, for me, they've all been different sizes, different degrees, never any background really or anything like that. But sometimes you're like a central character, and sometimes you're just a very important character that keeps things going and stuff like that. But no matter what it is, you always really approach it fresh.
They're no small parts.
No, no, that's one of the reasons why I love collaborating with you, is that exact attitude. Uh, One of the things James Neal and I talked about, and I think you can appreciate this, is whether you're talking about animation, whether you're talking about the job of the director, the job of the actor, when we're talking about film, really at the end of the day, whatever it is, whoever you are, your job is to make something look interesting on the screen. It's difficult, but at its heart, it's so simple, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, that I think in a lot of times when it is hard, it's because we get in our own way. I know that's been my biggest problem I've heard in all my acting classes, was that I'm in my way. One of my teachers literally, I can't think of the exact expression she used, but it was something pretty close to that. Sometimes when I'm acting, it looks like I'm fighting with God. You know, and I was like, yeah, I guess that means I'm kind of not in the scene, right? 'Cause unless the scene is fighting God, I don't think that's appropriate. So I try to get dialed in. Um, so Spread technically was our second project together, but it's also technically our third, well, my third film. And do you show up in Vengeance Turns Volume 2 at all?
No.
So not flashbacks, nothing?
No.
I didn't think so. I was trying to remember before I got on here. I didn't think you showed up in even her like vision or whatever at the beginning. So you've been in my first two projects.
It was originally one movie, so that
Yeah,
there's
so two,
that.
yeah, two of my first three movies. And speaking of that, I'm still in the process right now of putting it all back together as a single movie.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm looking forward to that coming out at some point. So Spread was my second project. Then of course I did Succubus Next Door, and then we did Karma Mechanic as well, which was really completely different than everything we've done.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, and one reason was the whole thing about using the phones and stuff, which I was very pleased at the end of the day with the overall result of it, for the amount of this crew size, and the level of technology that we were putting into it. It really turned out great. Do you know what I mean? And it shows that anybody out there who has a vision and wants to do this job, wants to make movies, can do it. I'd heard like a something like from people like Kevin Smith, Darren Aronofsky, and they were saying how like that when they entered into the film business 30 years ago, whatever, that there was like in the 90s there was this like lower entry barrier, and I thought I just don't feel like that's true. I feel like with smartphones and stuff, and uh, great programs, apps like Premiere Pro, I feel like that the barrier is lower than it ever has been. You know, to be able to, if somebody has an idea, they should be able to execute it. Um, so let's go back and talk about spread for a second because that's what I'm working on right now. You probably realize this, but now spread is done. It's in the can. We had our premiere last year in October. Now it's been on Tubi, streaming for about 5 months. People can buy it on AltaVod, and it just went live a few days ago in the UK.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I thought it already was, but yeah, it was cool to see a little message pop up and say you guys are you're now live in the UK. So being short on resources like money, but having at least some time available, I'm trying to put any time that I can fit in right now and kind of uh, do some promotional work for the movie. So Lethal Voice season two, my podcast is going to start back up, and that's where I talk about the whole process of making independent movies. I don't know if you listened to season one, but it was called Turning to Vengeance, and it was about everything from coming up with the idea for Vengeance Turns to all the hurdles to getting it made and getting it out there. This season will be called Spread the Movie,
Cool.
appropriately. And so I'm doing these interviews with you guys right now, and what'll happen is I'll release this as like raw footage, as just a raw interview on YouTube on my channel. I'll put the whole interview out completely unedited on my Patreon at procrastogram.com, oddly enough. And then I'll use little clips inside the Lethal Voice podcast. And all of those will help to promote the movie, but Lethal Voice podcast at this point seems to get the most traction. So when I think about making spread, it was such a different process than making Vengeance Turns. Because with Vengeance Turns, I swung for the fences. I'd never made a movie like that before. I really had never gotten to completely go A to Z on a movie. And so there were multiple locations. There were 50 something actors, including all the extras and all this kind of stuff. And on Spread, I just stripped it all down. You know, there was like very limited location, very core cast and crew. And there were two primary locations. One was David Ruano's house in LA that we filmed as being Emily Alexander's house, your character's house. And then we had the house out in the desert. And these ended up being two completely different productions. Like, are you aware of that? Like how completely different these productions are? Literally, the production you were on, I don't know if you remember, but we called it Day Zero because of the fact that it was not attached to the regular shoot. And do you remember on Day Zero who your fellow actors were?
Um, I remember they had to be recast because of the scheduling.
Yeah, that's well, it's even more complicated than that. But yeah, Ian Peterson and Erica Marks.
Erica Marks, yes.
Yeah. And so both who I was very, very thrilled to be able to work with, and I'm hoping at some point to be able to work with them in the future. But man, as people learn, you know, in independent film, you got to be ready to turn on a dime, you know.
Right.
And we did, I feel like I'm telling you something you don't know, just for the audience, you know, but we did not secure the funding, Stacy, that we wanted to secure for Spread.
Oh,
Yeah. And so with a little bit less money than we thought, uh, we, first of all, the bummer for me was not being able to do as intensive special effects, blood effects. But more importantly for the cast and crew was we could not get an intimacy coordinator. We couldn't afford an intimacy coordinator. And there's some pretty dicey scenes and stuff in that
That's
movie.
right.
Yeah, and so when I broke the news to the actors that were playing in those particular roles, they made a fair decision, not to continue with the project
Hmm.
without the intimacy coordinator, and I didn't spite them a bit. And when
Right.
they dropped out, Ian dropped out too. It was almost that simple. And but it left me with being like a week before the shoot and having to replace Rex, having to find a new
Wow.
Rex. Yeah, and I was,
Important character.
yeah, yeah, very, very, very important character. So I was very glad when we found Michael Denny. Um, but when we shot at David's house, like again, it was really two different productions. We had the same DP, we had Jessica Gallant, we had me as the director, but we did not even really have an official sound person at that point. We had, I think, David's brother was helping us, and then we hired Sam Grant to come in and shoot with us out in the desert. But is there anything that you remember specific or that you recall from? Oh, yeah, you got to meet the other two, the other Rex and Flo as well. I
Yeah,
forgot.
we had to reshoot that scene,
Yeah,
the end of that scene.
yeah, we had to do that pickup. But what do you recall about day zero? About that first day of shooting? Was there anything leading up to it? Was there anything that day that you remember that stands out?
Um, no, I remember it was warm out. And I was glad to have the air conditioning in the car. And the wind was part of the crew, I think. Um, but
So do you
no,
remember,
it's kind of intense. That's the first role I've ever played like that. So that was very different for me
as far as
to
like being a
play.
scream queen?
Huh?
As far as like being a scream queen?
Yeah, any like yeah, any kind of like that kind of intensity. I kind of come from more like comedy, improv, live theater. Is most of my background, and then um, some of the parts that I've played in film have been more intense. There's one I was a victim, but then for a show, but then after, it was like the daughter tied the mother up, and the daughter was having like um, uh, she couldn't remember what she was doing. But the way I was playing it, they kind of changed all of a sudden. And go, okay, like basically, because I thought, what would cause the daughter to do this? So I'm figuring the mother is the one, she raised her. So I kind of took ownership of in my character for that. I kind of like storytelling. That's my main thing, I guess. And so anyway, in my mind, I had it where I justified it. And so then the director, okay, he kind of went with it because it's like, she made her that way basically. So even when I was a victim, I kind of turned it into being a protagonist. So this was this was different.
Yeah, yeah. I remember like having to explain, as I always do, talk to the actors about what's happened outside of the story that they're shooting right now, on how they got there. Do you remember like that you were having to shoot with this phone? That you were having to also shoot? This,
Yes, and you gave me some samples of how the framing, and so that was. I feel like I was also a bit of a cinematographer
yeah,
because I had to practice and make sure I could be in this character and but still keep my face in frame.
yeah.
So that was another thing too.
You probably had the biggest challenge when you think about it and you look at the movie with this one unique aspect of having the phone on the screen. We use it a lot throughout the movie, but really the beginning and your use of it is by far the most intense, and it put the most effort onto the part of the actor.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool and a really great idea too. And
Yeah,
then the
but
way it came out, I just watched it a bunch of times on Tubi like last month, and
yeah,
that
but
was a lot of fun too. It's one thing to see it at a screening, but then I'm all like, kind of like nerves
yeah,
for
but
some
you're
reason. I
right though.
premiere.
It was really unique of getting you to be able to hold the phone at a certain position to where we would catch you from the phone, but also getting Jessica as she shot you to get the right shot to marry it to, because I was so obsessed with, and for the most part succeeded, keeping those two tied together. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and
Like
without
the
filming each
authentic.
other. I mean,
Yeah,
without me filming her, basically,
right,
I
exactly.
guess. And,
And then
yeah.
one of my challenges in the edit was going back and like making sure I didn't get Jessica, and and making sure that as much as possible I had the right edit, the same edit that she was shooting you and you were doing this. If you notice, one of the places where I had to do like a little trick was right when you're coming in the house.
Uh-huh.
And if you watch, what happens is it's almost like the Wi-Fi is switching the signal, so it like freezes for a second.
Right.
And I did
It
that
looks
so that I could,
natural.
yeah, I did that so that I could transition from one take that we were using to a different take and make the audience feel like there was something natural in it. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
so that was the tricky part. But I love. I've got some background footage. I think it's on YouTube as a short where you are me talking to you, and you're like, should I just call action to myself? And I'm like, well, I'll call action, and then you can take over from there. But I'll kind of yell it just so that we can get everybody coordinated. But it's funny, total non sequitur. But the one of the first comments I got in that video was about my nose hair.
Oh.
Because while I'm totally talking to you and holding it, man, it's like going right up my nose, and man, I got these bushy nose hairs. And somebody wrote on there like, "Hey, man, time to trim." Um, So at any point though, when we were doing that thing with the phones, did you ever sit there in your mind, you can tell me the truth, were you ever like, there's no way, no way, this is gonna work?
Oh no, no. I could see how it was gonna work.
Because yeah, I was so afraid that everybody just thought I was crazy because Jessica definitely thought I was nuts.
Oh, did she?
Oh yeah, yeah, she
Oh,
thought
I did.
she thought
I did not know that.
she thought I was nuts with the whole idea of using the actual cell phone footage that I would try to coordinate the takes.
Yeah.
And then when we were out in the desert, that I wanted to use the phones as the only light source.
And that worked too, didn't it?
Man, it did. And that's the whole thing is that was me gambling and that was me like throwing dice and telling her like me talking shit when I did not know what the hell I was really talking about. And now that I've done more movies, I know that I did not know what the hell I was talking about. I see where she was coming from, and that is use the external lighting source to make it look like whatever you want and go from there. But I was just wrapped up in this organic idea that if we use the phones, it will create enough ambient light. There's that scene where they're all in that circle and they have their phones out like that, and it creates like a ball of light in the middle of them. And I could not have been happier. And I remember when Jessica called me over and she was like, "Look at this, this is wild." And there was just this ambient ball of light in the middle, and I just kept being like, yes, it worked, it worked. First, we had you as the proof of concept on day zero, and then we extended that and took it out into the desert, and every little step like that made me more confident in the way I was, going to be able to put that together on the screen.
And what about that moon? You had everything was in alignment for you because
Yeah,
that was too perfect. That didn't even look real.
yeah. Me and Kurt, I interviewed Kurt Belcher, my co-writer, the other day. We were talking about just that one aspect and how, like, one of the things when it came down to time to start filming and stuff like that, I started looking at literally everything, like the weather, because we were going to be filming out in the desert, availability, of course, on your property and stuff. But then, like, what's the weather going to be like and all this? And all of a sudden, I saw like there was supposed to be like full moon and all this stuff lining up with us, and I was like, oh man, if the weather cooperates, this could be amazing. And I started telling Jessica. And then once you get it into Jessica's head, because she is a cinematographer,
Yeah.
she, for the rest of the time, she was like, I could watch her calculating and stuff like that. And she'd be talking to me about what takes are we doing now? What takes are we going to do later? Or are we can we get them outside? Can we get the moon in the shot? And yeah, there's a couple of shots when Eileen and Antoine are kissing on the porch, and Ashawn is peeking on them. The moon in the background is amazing. And then when Amy breaks up with Rex, when he's killing the landlord, and she's like, "Okay, we're officially broken up." You know, and she runs and jumps in the truck. The moon above her is amazing too. So it's nice to play with what you have available. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. And when nature cooperates, I remember there's footage uh, on the behind the scenes footage. I'll release some of this as I work on all this stuff right now. But there's footage of me actually talking to Jessica and saying the exact phrase I just said, that it's nice when nature cooperates.
Right. When nature's your crew.
Yeah, yeah, it's like wow. And I've had people talk about the shot with Eileen and Antoine. I've had people ask me if we green screen that.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm not surprised
they're
because it
like that
looks
just
so
looks
good. It's
stunning.
like
Yeah,
nature could they could that couldn't be real that
yeah,
they lined that up with that moon, the clouds, and the whole thing,
yeah. No,
like
I was like that's the little bit of nature and a lot of Jessica Gallant. You know.
it's when you know you're doing something right.
Yeah, yeah. It was interesting. I've still got calls out to all the other actors right now. It looks like uh, Fierro Thorne, who is also known as Corinne Bachot, on the credits of the movie. I think we're still going to be interviewed, but so far I have not heard from any of the other cast or crew uh, or the other cast, and I hope I do. Because like I keep on writing in the emails, I'm like, I'd like for your voice to be heard. Uh, so Stacy, what got you into acting?
Um, I had a lot of interests and I was good in a lot of different things. Um, and so I kind of felt like it was the way to satisfy the most of me because I could like play a doctor or play these different things. Um, and so it seemed like the best thing for me to do.
There look like it sounds almost like you're not wanting to say it, but like there's that little kid inside all of us that just wants to play, you know?
Yeah.
Like I might be a doctor someday. I might be a lawyer. And it is kind of a fun way to fulfill that. And for me, having played some dark characters, it's a very fun way to release a lot of darkness and stuff like that, to allow that to come through either on the page as a writer or through a performance as an actor, to say and do things that I would never do in my real life.
Yeah, and I never really grew out of playing dress up or yeah, like I like to watch Star Trek reruns and then I
Mhm.
would act them out and tell
Yeah,
everybody what to do and different things. And so I was always kind of like it just sort of a natural extension, I guess. And it's also since I am introverted, when I play characters, it's not me talking, it's the character.
yeah,
So that's where like the deep dive, and then I kind of like with Mrs. Payne and Vengeance Turns or something like
yeah.
that. Just dive deep into that character. Um, then I wasn't really breaking character so much either between the takes. Like one time you made a joke or something. I was kind of like,
Yeah, yeah,
I almost
yeah.
couldn't laugh.
Right, yeah. Because Mrs. Payne did not find that shit funny. Boy.
I think it's in one of the blooper reels or something with
Yeah.
that stuffed rooster. I don't
Oh my
know.
God, Kate Comstock, dude.
Huh?
Kate Comstock and that rooster.
Yeah.
She's like,
Like I thought it was funny, but I was way deep down
oh
there. I could
yeah.
barely, get a little laugh out.
Yeah, you and she could not have been more different as far as that shoot goes, because she had that just like, here's my cock, here's my rooster, and petting that rooster and the whole thing, dragging it in, making a blooper and stuff like that. And like you said, whereas you were like very Mrs. Payne about it, you're like, I can see how you think that's funny. Um, talking about professionalism, talking about focus, talking about goals. Um, where are you aimed? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years?
I'd like to
Clearly.
do something that's again like a period piece, a western where I'm around horses would be that's like in my ideal. And I also would love to like it would be fun to go to a set and maybe a series too, where you return to the same, like a time traveler. That's my next goal. I'm going to do a time traveling period piece, and where you're just immersed in that world and keep returning. Um, either either a series or a movie that has sequences. But I think that in my mind's eye, that would be my ideal, kind of like, to use the most parts of yourself I think that's the goal. And so that's right. If I really, maybe to go to a studio or something too. It's such a good feeling. I used to do work on game shows at the Warner Brothers, and even could park there and stuff. And I don't know, it was, oh, what's this? Oh, some call coming in. I can't, you switched off the thing. I mean, I have to look at you like that.
No, it's all right. Yeah, I saw a little flash and I wondered what it was.
Yeah, it's like a call came in. I don't know how to,
Don't worry about it.
anyway, it'll go away.
Yeah.
I've got one of those call screening things, so it'll.
I've done interviews where like you can like see the phone actually start vibrating.
Oh, there, it's done. Thank God. Thank God that's over.
Yeah, people
I
trying to
can't bear
contact
it.
me. Don't people know I don't want to talk to them?
The intrusion.
Intrusion. God.
It's an outrage, is what it is.
Uh, when I look at like one thing about the future, like I literally like I have stupid vision and goals, man. Like I want to have lines in like a feature film working for a known director. Like I want that. I want it,
Yeah.
and like overall I'm more into writing and directing and stuff, but man, I've got it in my head right now that I want to be on the set with like Darren Aronofsky, Steven Spielberg, not Wes Craven, he's dead. Sam Raimi, somebody like that, and a known director, have lines, and hear them say, "Good job." I'm such a narcissist, man. You know? And one of the other goals that a few of my friends know that I have is, and it better happen soon because they may be going away, but I want to be a guest on a late night talk show.
Right, right.
You know, especially like as a writer, director, actor. Like, to me, that would just be my biggest dream is to have something like Jimmy Kimmel going. So, same question other friends have asked me, how do you look at yourself more as a writer, a director, an actor? Well, Jimmy.
See, I want to be on Watch What Happens Live with being an actress on that show. Well, Andy, and have a cocktail on the show.
Right, right. I like doing these podcasts and stuff, man. I like doing them for other people, and I definitely like doing mine. I like promoting my stuff. Like I
Yeah.
said, for me, it makes sense, and I like for you guys to promote your stuff as well. What have you been working on lately that is interesting to you that you think people might enjoy if they watched it? And is there anything out right now that they can just go click and they can go watch? Or if you send me the link, I'll put it in the description.
My last vertical that I did, it came out last year. It's on Flare Flow, so I don't really tell too many people about it, but it was a really great part, fun part. And it's a very popular show. It's called Oops, I Can Hear His Thoughts.
Oh, wow.
And so through a series of magic, and I'm the magic that comes in. So I
Okay.
had like two scenes where a few scenes where I come in and just give the magic um, and then give advice. And anyway, but it's playing that kind of a mystical, that kind of, bringing in that whole thing. And again, the wind was my crew with my hair.
Nice. Well, if you send me the link, I'll put the links to it in the description on YouTube
Okay.
and stuff like that, just so that if people watch this and they want to see it, they can click over and watch it.
Yeah, I guess because you have to pay, and so I'm like, I know people have to pay, but I guess if you go into a theater, you have to pay.
Yeah.
And what I did to watch it, because I didn't want to have to pay to watch it and watch myself, and so when it gets to a point where you watch like a few episodes, and then
They charge
they
you.
start to ask for money, and
Yeah.
then I just leave the app and come the next day, and then I could watch some more. And I just did that for a
Ah,
few days, and I was able to watch the whole thing and never pay a penny. And and then and then once you've watched it all, then you have it. And so I
Oh,
need to go back and watch it.
okay. So you
And
just gave people a good way to do it.
yeah, so that's how I trick the jackals because I'm cheap.
Yeah, me too.
I'm
Me too.
naturally frugal. That's what I am. That's one of my basic
You
characteristics.
can also see Stacy Marie Turner in Karma Mechanic, the vertical series that we shot, and it's 100% free. It's on my Instagram. It's on the right now. It's still the Roberts Next Door uh, YouTube channel. It's gonna stay alive, but I'm gonna migrate any of the worthwhile content like that off of
Oh,
into
and I want to get that on my reel. I think I want to make a new reel and get
yeah.
my scene from Karma Mechanic.
Just let me know because I can give it to you in vertical and horizontal, so you can
Yeah,
have
oh
it in both.
great.
Yeah. Because I've got it in
Super.
both. Yeah, and you that
Takes
was
me a while. I mean, it's weird. I like watching myself, but then it takes me a while to digest it enough and think I need to put it on my reel for some reason.
right.
There's a huge delay with that for me.
Sometimes me too.
And then I was wait, why didn't I do that? But
But I am a narcissist. Like, so I definitely watch everything that I'm in, everything that I've made. Part of it just because I'm a narcissist and I want to see it, but also very honestly, I'm always critiquing myself. You know
uh-huh.
what I mean? I'm my own coach as well as everything else that I have to do. And I watch stuff and I constantly make notes about, okay, you messed that up, as an actor or as an editor or as a director or as a writer, and finding ways to improve it, make it better the next time, so
I
yeah.
watch things and go, "Oh my God, that's awesome! Look at the micro expressions. I didn't even plan on that."
I love when that happens. And
Yeah,
usually when that happens, it's usually like what you just said, there's interplay. It's rarely me by myself where I see that. It's almost always me with another actor.
mm-hmm.
The life all of a sudden enters the scene because of the interaction.
Yeah, yeah,
In Vengeance Turns, you've seen Vengeance Turns Volume 2, right? Like
yeah.
at the end
On
of it.
Tubi.
Yeah, yeah. Watch it on Tubi, folks. Free. Stream it now. Uh, there's a scene at the end of it where the sheriff, Steven Cicerone, and I are talking, and I got such a kick out of the way he and I were playing these characters, and I'm all up in his face. I'm like, "Right, sheriff," and all this, and it simply would not have been the same with a different actor. It was
Right,
that was me and Steven. You know what I mean?
right.
And his reaction and the way he was reacting to me just brought more of it out. So yeah, sometimes your partner is your savior as an actor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, is there anything right now that you are working on that you're looking forward to
Um,
seeing, either to get filming it, to get started, or something that you filmed and you're waiting for it to come out?
let's see. I've got another movie that's going to be released, um, called Mirage, and we got a little role in that.
Buh or muh? Barrage or
Huh?
buh or muh?
Mirage,
Okay.
Mirage, Mirage.
Yeah.
Um, and really, that's the only thing I have that's. Oh, and also, of course, your movie,
Succubus next
Succubus
door.
Next Door.
Uh,
That's coming out. That'll be that's something else to be released. So
I think I'm gonna do a screening, and maybe I wanted to do it this month, but again, my injury and stuff through a lot of different. My life has been a reverse lottery ticket, as I think you know, for 2026. So I just keep on managing and negotiating and navigating the different occurrences. But having said that, I'd wanted to finish it and have a screening in July. Obviously, that's not going to happen at this point, but I can probably still finish it in the next week or two, at least a rough cut, and maybe invite you guys over at the end of August.
oh,
Yeah.
wonderful!
Yeah.
How exciting!
And it is as different from the other projects as they are from each other. You know how different Spread and Vengeance Turns are?
Yeah, they couldn't be more different.
Succubus Next Door couldn't be, it's completely and utterly a different beast than either of them. So once again, its own complete different beast. And once again, you brought something completely different to the screen.
I
Yeah.
can't wait to see it.
Oh my God, your character in that one. That
Huh?
shirt that you got, that shirt that you're wearing at the end, like the Tom Petty line. Oh my Lord. Um, so yeah, your thing at the end of that, Stacy. I'm not sure. I'm wrong a lot, especially in 2026. But I get the feeling that that scene at the end with your character is going to be the scene that if people make this movie go viral, it's going to be because of that scene.
Yay!
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's one of the most fun things I've ever done on any set, any job, to be able to sit there and just do that toss through the air, and
You know
then
what?
put
Every
that table
time I was
together.
rehearsing that scene on Zoom with Rob, every single time when I would get to that part, because I have no more lines,
Yeah,
it's just they can't. But when I get to that, it would, like surprise me, and I start laughing.
yeah. But the whole thing with Jonathan Picard, he turns around, he's like, "Call 911!" He's trying to jam the head back on, call an ambulance. And Rob does, Rob's character Chris calls. He's like, "Yeah, somebody cut this cunt's head off."
But
Just
he's so good.
as cruel as he can be at that moment.
Yeah, yeah. It just yeah.
Uh,
Jonathan's so up, and Rob's so down.
yeah,
Yeah, it works out great. At least the rough cut that I saw.
yeah, yeah. I've had a lot of fun putting the more serious cut together, and as always, I think after I do the rough cut and I watch you guys watch it, I'll probably go back and fix a couple things, maybe more than once. But pretty much, this one was. It's got some weird places in it, but overall, the edit. This is true of all three of them. The edit spoke to me. It's like it told me what to do, kind of. There's like I said, kind of a completely different feel to it. This one is really based a lot on rhythm.
Right.
The edit in it is really based
Yeah.
a lot on rhythm.
Right.
I can't wait for you to see it, Stace.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited that it's coming up soon.
And I'll get you footage from it too. So if you send me a note, if you'll send me an email, even today, and remind me, I'll get you footage. It might not happen today, but I will start working on it today.
Uh-huh.
I'll get you footage from Karma Mechanic and from Succubus Next Door.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
use it or don't use it. If it fits
Yeah.
your deal, if you want to keep it in your clip drawer and things like that, that's fine with me.
Great. Great. So I can put succubus on my reel already, you
Yeah,
think? Or
yeah, I don't care. I don't care. Yeah,
okay,
again,
cool.
you kind of live in a different echelon in my world than other people.
That's a
So,
lot.
yeah. If other people took their fucking career as seriously and took my life and my projects as seriously as you do, I would bend over backwards for them as well.
Mm.
But instead, I find myself in a lot of combative situations with a lot of people, and once I get in a combative situation, I don't like to lose. It's weird. It's not a positive aspect of my personality, but a lot of people know this. I really enjoyed talking to you, and I don't want to keep you all day. I promised you I wouldn't.
I enjoy talking to you too, Bobby. I'm glad to see you at least up and around.
Yeah,
Saw you hobble there at least.
yeah. Let me take and quit recording, and we'll talk for a minute longer, and I'll tell you
Okay.
a bit about my recovery and stuff. So thank you, Stacy Marie Turner. This is part of the Lethal Voice Network, and what I call this is right now it's called Spread the Interviews. Yeah, so milk it for all I can, right? And thank you again, Stacy. I'll keep talking to you after this, but America loves you, and they're glad that you were here with me today. Thank you.